Honey, take your time.
Okay.
We got nothing to do.
Now we do. So you guys are already there, got it. And then you're good.
Right now? Okay, let's call to order the planning board meeting for the town of Mendon for Wednesday, July 19th, 7 p.m. First item on our agenda is to approve our meeting minutes from our June 21st meeting. So I'm wondering if everybody had a chance to review those and if they have any comments or questions or concerns or changes that need to be made, edits. No, would someone like to make a motion that we approve? No, that we approve the meeting minutes from June 21st?
I move to
Charlie?
approve those minutes.
Second, Teresa, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No abstain? Okay, perfect. Okay, first item on our agenda is the Haven site plan. Are you Mr. Haven? You can come right up and sit down if you want. Or if you don't, but again, please feel free. So we see that you have a 12 by 20 prefabricated shed that you want to put up on your property. And the reason that you're before the planning board is it's a little forward of your actual front of your house.
Yes, and I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory so everybody understands. I came to see Katrina about putting the shed. And we went and we were going to put in for the permit, and then Katrina says, well, Doug, she says, your house may face south. Sidewalk is south, but the way your house is orientated on your lot. Your garage and stuff between West Bloomfield Road and my home. And she said, that's actually your front of your house. So I am here today to ask you guys if I can put my shed in the front yard.
There you go.
So, that's kind of the way it sounds, but, I gave you guys a photograph of the property and how it's situated, so you will be able to see.
Mhm.
I have a little arrow where it's gonna go. You'll see where the driveway kind of like has a little dog leg. It would be the north side. You can see how my house with the sidewalk faces south. And that's where I would like to put the shed. So I went a little bit farther and I saw my neighbors. You guys will see there's 3 of them. You got Mike, Trentino. We have Diane, Ziegler. And then I got Otto Walter. Otto is the one that we share the driveway.
Mhm.
And Mike and Diane are across the street, and those guys would have direct. If they were to stand out their driveways and look towards me, they're gonna see it.
Right.
There are other neighbors. I have a list of all my neighbors, but they won't ever see it.
Right, and we haven't heard from any neighbors. They haven't contacted us with any concerns.
Right. So I wanted to build an extra mile. So you guys could see that I took the time and effort to go and talk to my neighbors about it. And so I did go and I do have okay, so we get to that, and I filled out all the paperwork with this, and Katrina was great because I went back to see her several times because I said, Katrina, I might fill this out right. She kind of walked me through it, so thanks to her. And then if you guys go through it all, I know there's a lot. I went with. Oh, I did draw up, now here again, I did draw up for you guys where it actually is on the property, and where it's gonna be sitting off of property. And I'll show it to you. It's like this, I colored it yellow, so there's a lot of
Oh,
lines.
there we go. Oh, I see shed.
And it's yellow, it's highlighted in yellow. And you're gonna see like off the street, it's like 574 feet, and then off my north lot line, it's 94 feet, depending, it's on an angle a little bit.
Mhm.
So it's, well, sitting well off of the property. It's not gonna encroach anybody's line or anything like that.
Right,
Whatever
and
your
this
law
is,
says.
this here's the front of your house.
The front of my house is where it says septic system, and it actually faces.
Okay, so the front of your house is that way, okay.
So when you look at the yellow, if you look to your right or to your east.
Oh, I see,
do you see
okay,
how technically that is?
I do, so, yeah,
I mean, it is behind my home and stuff. If you
Right.
wanna picture your house, the way I
Yep.
have it built.
Yep.
It'd be behind it, but,
Okay.
so anyways, I've learned, you guys, I've learned that's how it works.
do you have plans to, extend the driveway to the shed?
Well, it's gonna go right at the end of the driveway. If you
Mhm.
go back to this photograph, I think you're right. It's already there.
So that little spur that's already like,
Yep. I think
Already
the
there.
spur is already there. It was there because I either store up my trailer or unload stuff there, but it's gonna go right at the end. So the driveway isn't gonna be extended at all.
Well, I must say, this is very thorough.
So.
I'm sorry, this,
So anyways, does anybody have any questions?
I was just gonna ask the, members of the planning board if they had any questions.
I just was wondering if you were adding any landscaping or had any plans around the shed, or if it was just gonna be
Well,
dropped.
I did think about that. And you guys all know that if you guys live in and around Mendon, I thought I could put some arborvitae's or something to kind of hide it. But the deer are gonna eat that down so fast. If I put anything there, like an arborvitae or something grow tall enough to kind of hide it from the road, I would actually have to fence it in.
You could find some deer resistant landscaping, I think it would help to ground it, and I know it's got a deep inset from West Bloomfield Road, but you do see it, I think.
Yes,
So some
Yes.
landscaping, I think, would be a nice addition to it if you could manage that.
yes, I'll,
Birch trees.
okay,
They grow fast. That's what's
Okay.
next to our barn. That's what I'm thinking of.
okay.
They
Now-
grow fast and they get nice and tall and they put a nice little
And
screen
it'll
there.
have the birch trees, because I've got a few trees in my yard. Be hard pressed to see it in this photo, but the deer got a hold of it.
Yeah, they don't bother, the deer don't, we have 50 acres and the birch trees seem to hold strong for us, so.
Do you have them fenced in at all, or do they?
Nope. No, they're just there. Yep,
Um,
yep. So I mean, that's just, I'm just
No,
throwing that out
no,
there. That probably isn't gonna be a,
No, I did cross my mind, but it would be, I'd have to plan really on something to do with them. Like I say, I just kind of threw out what I did because I know that if you go up and down the roads in Mendon and anybody has that stuff, you can see the deer goes about 5 feet, they'll make a ring right.
yeah.
But yeah, I certainly can. I can make the effort to put something between the shed and the building, kind of. I did a little bit more.
That's all I had.
Okay, does anybody else? Charlie, you have anything?
no, I think given the distance from the road, if you were to plant anything, I think that would certainly cover it. The other thing is, it's on, the shed is on shoring, so it's not even a permanent structure,
It is
technically.
yes, technically, they're gonna. Well, they gotta come and look at the site when I talk to the gentleman that's gonna build it for me. They gotta come out and look at the site. And so he's gonna build it and hopefully just bring it there and drop it off. They're gonna bring somebody in to put some stone and put a 1 degree or something on it, so that if something like a snow blower or something does drip on the inside, it's gonna run towards the door.
Right.
But yes, they're gonna come in and they're gonna dig a foot or 8 inches down, put the gravel and stuff, and then put it, something to set it on. They're not just gonna set it on the ground. It won't be
I
concrete.
knew, I just, technically. I mean, I'm not even sure you need a permit, do you, for something it's just on shoring,
Yes,
do you?
it's a structure. Even all sheds end up on, gravel or some type of, yeah.
Well, I think that that's the logical place for your shed personally.
Right, I had a lot of different ways I was gonna explain to you on why I'm putting it there. I don't know if you look at it, but the way the property is drained, if I try to actually go behind my home. The lot is drained and you'll see that little, how it radiuses in the back there. Well, all the water behind the house, there's a swale. But when it rains hard, it all kind of drains, goes around the back. So even if I was gonna try to put it back here, not only would I have to drive across the lawn, the water, the way it drains through the yard. It gets so wet in the spring. It just would cause problems, so that when I had the house built, they put the driveway in, of course, they put those big stones, it's gotta be 2 feet, that real big stuff, and they make it the finer stuff on the top.
Okay.
So, for me, if I want to take my pickup and bring anything into this shed, it just makes sense to be at the end of the driveway.
Okay. Earl, you got any?
In the right place.
I think it's in the right place too. Okay, no other questions? Okay, would somebody like to make a motion that we do a preliminary and final approval on this shed forward of the house for Mr. Haven? Teresa, or, sorry, Nicole.
All good.
Second? Teresa, all in favor? Aye, any opposed? Any abstain?
No conditions.
I don't think we have any conditions.
You can go to get your building permit, but I'll send you an approval letter.
Okay.
In the mail.
All right, well, I want to thank everybody for your time and the consideration and allowing me to do it. Multiple thanks for your time.
Well, and thank you for your time and your detail and your efforts for us too. It makes it quite easy when applicants come in, they're well prepared.
Well,
So
thank you so much.
thank
for
you
your time.
that also.
Okay, the training, you'll see you.
I know, I can't wait.
I'll see you. Good to see you. Yeah. Thank you so much. Again, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Next, we have the Aqua Center for their special use permit and amendment. And it's a public hearing that we continued from our last meeting. So do we need to make a motion to reopen that?
Nope, it's
It's-
not closed.
Because it's not closed, so we're just gonna keep on going, public hearing. I mean, we have no public, so everyone on, well, there's Brent. Brent, do you have a public to something to say?
Oh, gosh, yeah, good call. I wasn't looking at the screen. Sorry, guys. You're on camera.
Oh.
No, I didn't. Okay, can you still see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chairperson,
Yes,
I had
ma'am.
recused myself from this.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm
Do you have
sorry.
enough to vote?
I think we do.
Okay.
3 of us, 4 of us, 4 of us. Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Mike.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thanks, Nicole. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Okay, so here we are. We are back. We have no public that would like to speak. Would you like to speak, Mr. Brent? No, you're good. Okay. So I think that when the last time we were here, we were like, wow, you guys have a lot going on. So we had a lot of questions about stormwater and some of the things on the site, and you very nicely provided lots of extra details for us. So let's see here.
Ron, I could speak to it all pretty quickly.
And you are,
John Patton with DDS.
thank you, Sean.
Project.
Yeah, we would love to hear from
Right,
you.
so, John Condon. So we did septic design. The septic consists of a 1,250 gallon septic tank. And 4 55-foot long absorption trenches in the leach field. We went out there on July 3rd, I think it was, to do soil testing. We had a percolation rate of 13 minutes. And we found no living layers in a nice silty loam soil that's out there. All this to say that per New York State DEC guidelines, this is a very good site for a septic system of this size. We also looked into the other septic systems on site, verified the size of that, and confirmed that the capacity that we designed for, combined with the capacity of the other 2 septic sites, should be more than enough for the usage of the applicant as well as any future growth.
Okay,
Next, then we went and did a stormwater analysis, so we're at 0.99 acres, which is under one, which should not require a SWIP. We did a stormwater analysis showing everything's flowing to the west side property line and then directly into a diversion swale, which is heavily vegetated and pretty deep. That swale actually comes back onto the applicant's property and then south into the Honeyway Creek tributary. We proved that because of the nice soil that's on site, that there's insignificant increase in flows from the proposed development. And then we also provided parking counts in there for the uses. I think we're at 55 or 60 is what we're proposing, and the required based on the use is 55. And then we are provided a lighting plan, and part of the lighting plan, we're replacing an existing fixture on the applicant's existing building that's shining into a neighbor's property, and all the lights that are gonna be on there are now gonna be downward facing, dark sky compliant lighting. That's all shown on that lighting that's provided as well.
oh, great, thank you. Does anybody have any questions?
I think you had a pretty thorough report, and there was a letter, I think, that came with drawings. too,
Yes.
which
Yeah.
That covered a lot. I don't really have any questions. I think everything was answered that we had from last, at least for me.
I think so too. Our code enforcement officer, he did have, he just wanted me to confirm with you about the disturbance.
Yes.
Because it's so close to that 1 acre. So Ron, and we're not, we just want you to confirm
That,
for our meeting minutes that yes, that
Yes.
it is
It is under
0.98 acres and it is under an acre.
yes,
Yeah, it's
0.99.
0.99, yeah.
And we've even offered to other municipalities in the past that we can state out that limits of disturbance to actually show that we're staying within that boundary. So if that's something that you're interested in, we're do that as well. But it is underneath, it's 0.99, and work to get the scope within that budget, because it's not a huge project that we would consider warranting putting that through the speedies permit.
Right.
You know, it's not.
And there's, yeah,
And it's also, we're in the middle of the 200-acre site. We're not gonna create a huge downstream distance there. And we proved that with the stormwater.
perfect. So that was really the only thing he wanted me to confirm with you, or the board to confirm with you. The parking you addressed, and that is sufficient. Does anybody have any questions about the DDS plan before I move on to the next? Okay, so I'm gonna move next to the easement that we were talking about. And one of the things that Corey recommended was that we do have as a condition of the approval an easement from the linear trail to the town-owned park that's been offered in good faith by you. And then I know we don't have a lot of public here, but maybe the one person in the public would know the answer to this question. Public person.
Public hearing is still open.
The public hearing's open.
Go ahead. Go.
So I'm just saying, so if they were to agree to an easement, the town would just have that easement, correct? And then they could decide whether they wanted to actually have trails or whatever back in there. So the easement is a good thing. I don't need to have any other. Okay, yes, I do know. Okay, perfect. But
Yeah, I think, you know, as on the town, for the town aspect of it, the ability to discuss a future easement is a great way to do it.
future easement or a current easement?
To go down and see if it is easement. Because, you know, on a map, aerial view looks great. Once you get down in there, it's all wetlands. Can we do it? And what is the economic investment to make it happen?
And if you had the easement and did nothing, what's the downside of that? If the town did that?
There's many easements out there that are just sitting there.
So if they agreed to give the town an easement and that was all came together, they would be done with that. The town would have their easement.
You just have the option to do
Right.
anything.
Right, and then you would have the option to do whatever you wanted
Yeah.
with that.
Right.
Okay, because I know this easement's been floating around out there since like 2010, so I just thought if we could kind of flatten it up tonight,
The
that would.
location of that easement on that property, whether it be adjustable to high and dry ground or whether it's in this little narrow piece. I don't know what you're ever gonna do with that property.
I don't think we were planning to do anything with that property just because of the
The other side.
restrictions around.
On the other side
On the side of the trail, restrictions around the property. I think we just need more.
be able to give the whole parcel to the town as it is.
I couldn't do that today, no. Would I be willing to talk to my board about it? I
Yeah.
could talk to the board about it. But I can't confirm that today.
I'm sorry, what did you ask?
The whole
for?
parcel.
The whole parcel, rather to try to define one little pathway and the best pathway that we know nothing about. Expand that out to half the parcel, whole parcel, whatever.
Well, we don't have to delineate where it goes tonight,
Right.
do we? If we offer you a 30-foot easement somewhere on that 30 acres, then can we just leave it open-ended like that? And say, if you can find a path somewhere on this.
Right, if there was 30 feet and there was wiggle room as to the exact
Yeah.
placement of
Yeah,
it,
do you think that's
I
fair?
think it makes sense to procure
Or
that
does it need to go
easement
up on the
and
side?
use it or not.
I think there was some discussion about not cutting off that piece of land right down the middle. I don't think that would be.
Okay.
I'm not saying
So
that's
that-
out of the question, but I don't think that's something that I can kind of commit to today. I know, I completely understand what you're saying. I think maybe it just requires sort of further investigation where that best path is. I mean, we've been sitting with sort of a proposed easement since 2010.
Right.
And, you know, we just thought this would be a much more useful path for the town to use than what was on the current.
Okay.
Will it allow us to? What are you proposing? I definitely can't agree to the. whole
No,
process
right.
today, you know, yeah. I would love to, because I don't think we'll be using it, but I
Right,
have to talk to the board about that.
and what, any comments, Teresa, do you have any thoughts on that?
I think if it works to just kind of leave it open-ended until the time comes when we can decide on like where exactly it goes, that would work for me. I don't know that we have to delineate it.
I mean, we're not going anywhere and we would never want to.
Right, right.
You know, we're not out to sort of.
No,
play
no,
games
no,
or
no,
anything
no,
like
I
that.
understand.
We definitely want to make sure that it's not. I would need to get further permission if it were gonna cut the property in.
At this time, we have nothing. Right?
Right.
Right, we have nothing, so. what you do? Give them the approval of it and let's come
And
back
then
and
we'll
talk
come back
about the
and-
easement
Absolutely.
afterwards.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
They're not gonna do anything, they're not.
Okay,
There's
so-
nothing with the easement.
Oh, no.
Setting it all up.
Right, okay, so we can approve, we'll just, well, I don't know if we'll approve this, but I mean, I can't say that for sure till we vote, but, and so we won't have the easement as a condition of the approval at this point.
Correct.
Okay,
But we're not going anywhere. And I definitely, I want to make good on the original promise in 2010. I just want to make sure that it works for the town and works for us.
it's perfect. Anybody else? Charlie, do you have anything? Well, this looks very thorough. Thank you very much.
We're glad to do it.
Thank you very, very much. This makes everybody's job so easy. Would someone like to make a motion that we approve the amendment to this special use permit for the Aqua Center as spelled out?
I move that we approve this special use.
And second by Earl. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstain?
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Talking about the change of the projects.
I think that was part of.
Yep, that was all part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're all good. Thank you. You are very welcome.
We will be sure to be back.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right
And I
away.
think I do need to close the public hearing. Oh, please correct. Do I need a motion for that?
Yeah. we need a-
Okay, would someone like to make a motion? Teresa, second, Earl, the public hearing on this is now.
Thank you. very
Thank
much.
you very much.
All in favor, yeah, we're good.
Oh, yeah, I, we're all good. Everyone's good.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
They were there. So go through the minutes, make sure that we had everything.
And you did. I'm telling you, it was, yeah, perfect. Oh, and there you go. Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
So, thanks. The next item on our agenda is public comment. Again, Mr. Public,
Yeah.
would you like to come forward and speak to us?
Some of us.
He's gonna always say come forward, but don't you ever put me in the spot like that again. But I needed to know.
So you're aware the town board. There's short-term rental applications Monday night. There is a variance coming up, the one in the hamlet. And if you're aware of the new law that we have placed, maybe,
Mhm.
they're looking for some input from the planning board. A favorable or unfavorable report. Very similar to the fund. Okay, so.
Okay, so this, the rental.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
going to be located in the hamlet? In the business district?
That's, there's allowed in the business district or in the industrial.
Right, and that's where it's gonna be?
Allowed,
Okay,
yeah. That's where they're permitted,
okay.
so. this-
Are you allowed to say who this person is?
It's, she's on, it's,
Angela
I
Holland,
thought
it's
so.
the old, Benacasa.
Oh, she is going to, okay.
Yes, so she's going in for variance for the number of guests, she exceeds that, so she goes to zoning next Thursday.
Okay.
And then, so what do? I give any board application?
I don't know, the application just came in, but then you got the 5 Ds, and there is a public hearing, but that public hearings for this are at the town board level.
Oh,
So
okay,
we're
good.
looking for your input with aspects to planning, parking, noise, anything along those lines.
Which location is it? Is it right on 251?
Correct,
It's
right
the old
next to
back house.
Oh, okay,
Right next to Westminster, right?
yeah.
How do we offer input? Do we have?
Does it-
anything?
I was just gonna say, how does that?
It would be at a meeting, so like I said, you guys would have that discussion and board.
With the applicant, here, do I do a? give them-
Or do we just review what's been submitted?
Just, it's on the agenda. but
It's on the agenda,
That's what I need
it's
to know.
on the agenda.
Oh,
Is it defined as the length of term of a rental?
Yes, the new laws, on the website,
Okay.
local law number 1. Right, that's local law number 1. So that defines rental periods, it defines, parking spaces, water, wastewater, all the planning concerns, but the permit, it's an operating permit. Which would be issued, any of these would be an operating permit issued by the town board.
What is the enforcement of that? Joe around the corner from you rents his house out for the summer and goes somewhere else.
That's more than a month.
It's more than a month.
That's not a short-term rental.
Okay, so
Short-term
under
rental
one,
is 30 days or less.
okay.
Okay, so we'll brush up on our new law so that we're quite
New law, comprehensive plan, so
yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure.
We worked hard to get that to happen.
I'm sure Ms. Holland will come in and present her plan to you guys, so.
You know what I mean?
It's, the coordination will go through, works on this. She'll coordinate with you because it is a town board application.
Yay. Anything else, Mr. Public? Joe Public? Okay, you're sticking around for our general discussion, correct? Which is next.
I thought that was.
No, that was public comment.
Oh,
It's okay that you're going in order. No, you're right where you were supposed to be. So general discussion. We have some upcoming meetings. We have the Koshik sub public hearing. Can you tell us a little bit
Yes.
about that?
And there's an addition that just started coming through as soon as I get this job. So the Kashmir is the old Oriental Gardens that's on, oh my gosh, yeah, Mendon Center, not Pittsburgh Mendon Center, just Mendon Center. So they sold, this gentleman is buying it and just going to continue operating it as it's been operated. But special use permits are not transferable because otherwise it'd be a variance that doesn't ride with the land. So he's got to come in and get it in his name because the special use permit was
Mhm.
given to
Worked hard for that too.
AL, oh my gosh, guys, I've been emailing them on.
You know what, that's fine.
But that's
So
what
there's no changes, just the owner's name, so.
Exactly. Now, the conditions that you have for, just so you know, with Equa Center, their determination said any changes brings them back to the planning board. That's not always special use permits, just so you know, it doesn't have to be if he wants to do whatever, he wouldn't necessarily have to keep coming back to you.
But we
That's your
could make
discretion.
that, we
But you
can make,
could.
the board
Correct.
can make that a condition of
Correct, and I've
approval.
warned him that could be a thing. So that'll be him along with, now we have Mike Silverall, so it's the brother who's building from the, was it the McDermott subdivision? Am I picturing that right? The cheese?
Wilhelm.
Milhelm, right, McDermott's on road. I've been talking to him too, so he will be here. You've got a lot of DDS, just so you're aware, so when you get those, just really look at the name, because I have to keep looking at the name of who's, you know what I mean, their cover sheet is the same, and there's a lot coming through. I'm adding an informal discussion, like a pre-application meeting with McWilliams, informal discussion. As soon as his check comes in, it's gotta be 5 weeks. I will have that information to you. I just got his letter of intent. And I will send everything to you per code. I must be no less than 3 weeks from receipt until I can put them before you. He's just got, he's on Mile Square.
Katrina, did you have that up on?
Yeah, this one.
Oh, sure. Thanks, love.
You're welcome. And
What's the one?
yep, so it's
Who?
Nick Williams, MC, WILLIAMS. I will forward that to you. He's mailing me a check. He lives in Ohio. He is taking his land. He wants to ultimately make 3 lots for his, it's like niece-in-law and her sister. The letter, I just got the letter today and I was
Okay.
reading it. But I know that it's family. So there is no site plan coming with it. And I've explained planning board plans, right? Ultimately, yes, they will build houses. It could be 10 years. There's no, you know what I mean? It's not, so just know that part of it. There is no site plan. And the pre-application is basically they have their surveyor map and I have his basic letter of intent, like what it is they're doing. And then from there, and I don't collect engineer fees, so we don't have him review it. It's really on you to give him some feedback of where they're going. So I'm trying, the reason why we have to, the 16th, oh gosh, I'm sorry, he's on the 16th, not the 2nd. I apologize, he's on the 16th. Because, that's when he can get in here as well from Trentwood. I apologize, I lied, he's down on.
That's okay.
Is that the one where we'll have to be here a little early?
Nope, he'll just be first.
Oh,
So it'll be, you know, I told him maximum 15 minutes. I mean, this is just, you'll look at the stuff and you'll say, this would be this is what you need to do type deal.
Right, in the pre-meetings, what we need to do in a pre-meeting is spelled out in the town code. So for subdivision of land, so if you have a chance to just kind of go through that and just brush up on that. That will be the basis of what
I think they call it pre-application meeting.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I collect half the.
I think I think in the code, it says you should be meeting at the site, but we'll pass on.
Right, yeah, I
But-
mean, you're welcome to go.
Yes, if anybody wants to go by ahead, that's fine.
And then you've got the Miller subdivision and site plan, which would be a public hearing on 16th.
And the
that one
Kelhorn.
is Glenn Thornton's doing that one, and then Kelhorn will be back with DDS. And that's Troy Kelhorn, who's building his home on,
Cheese factory.
cheese. Yeah, yes, cheese.
Okay,
That's, you're there, and then, so far after that, I don't have anything. My intent is to not have your meeting on the sixth. If it happens, but as of right now, the cutoff was July 2nd, so you should not be having that. It's only if you need to bring someone back, so that'll be the first day of school, right after Labor Day, so ideally for you, yes, we wouldn't have one.
okay, that's it. And then I just wanna go. Howie again. Anybody have any more, did everyone read this?
No.
Did Teresa got,
It's there.
Yeah, I have.
here, I'll just show it to you quick, because it doesn't really matter, there is no return address.
Okay.
It is not signed, I do
Oh.
not know who sent this.
Oh.
Look at mine, it's
Oh.
the same. I'm sure, I mean, I don't know for sure, but
She's really trying to throw him under the bus, isn't she?
I don't know who that is.
Apparently, if you don't want someone to build near you, you have your home declared historical. So you keep everybody away from your house, like 500 feet.
Well, here's the deal. And I mean, I know that that's part of the whole thing that we need to be looking at. I've been by that place, I mean, Teresa, or. Why do I keep doing that tonight? Nicole said she's there every day when she's playing tennis and all of that, so she's there. I've been making a point to come home that way, and if I'm going, I'm continually going that way, thinking. And I see that house across the street. I see lots of mature trees and things around it. I see that the front faces basically Menon Center Road, right?
Mhm.
And the driveway is on Menon Center Road, entering in. The houses that he possibly may be building will be facing Topspin. So we'll be facing her side yard, not the side of her house where her driveway is. Not the front of her house where she would be opening her door to people coming in. I mean, these are just my thoughts about this. I don't know. I mean,
She stated that she could see from her bedroom that location. When she looks out the front, she sees the road. When she looks to the north, she sees her modern garage and
Mhm.
and she sees the subdivision right next to that.
Mhm.
All within 500 feet.
Yeah.
And I believe they put the garage together.
Yeah.
And they have more of a view of that out of the normal parts of the house and the bedroom. When they're in the bedroom, it's usually dark.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is she afraid somebody's gonna look in her window? Okay, that was nice.
Okay.
So that was just an observation that I had. Any observations from you two?
I was thinking about it also, and I think the last thing we asked for was to see some kind of a study on what they could propose there that might fit with the area. And I think I'm pretty sure I did a quick scan of our code, I could be wrong, but I think when we do a subdivision approval, I think we can put contingencies in about what's going to be put there, like we could say you can't build anything. Give them stipulations, so that would satisfy some of the residents who are not happy about it also, but still allow him to build something that would work. Because it is a valid argument, I think, that if we just go ahead and say, yes, do whatever you want here. Then the builder who comes in and does it could do a monstrosity,
Yes,
So
like,
I think if we take kind of baby steps and say. This subdivision can be approved with conditions, these are the conditions. And this is the type of massing and whatever that would work with the existing historic architecture. I
so,
think we're allowed to do that. I'm not 100% sure, but.
and I was thinking of that too, but I'm still going back to. I don't know if that type of thing needs to be, could be generalized in a subdivision approval. But really, the site plan approvals are gonna be where, and in order to get the site plan approved, they're gonna have to get an EPOD permit. So I don't know that we would grant an EPOD permit just blanket for all three of the properties. I think that and I'm just like, these are things that are just ruminating in my head. But if we were to approve the subdivision with some general conditions. And one of them being that they will, each site will need to be able to obtain an EPOD permit for the historical. In order to do that, they're going to need to show us that what they are going to build at that time is going to somewhat fit in historical nature.
Yeah, I think
It's not gonna be like that house that they built on Taylor Road that looks like a, I don't know.
I think if we're clear when if we approve the subdivision, I think if we're clear that we're gonna be sensitive to anything that's
Very.
built there, that might appease some of the, neighbors and kind of. I don't know, we're kind of straddling the line between two different groups. It's tricky, but I think if like what you said, if we just make it clear that we are gonna be sensitive to whatever's built there.
I just think that we can go on and on and
Yeah.
on and have meeting after meeting after meeting and, I know Don is very concerned about being sued.
Mm.
I think that either way, whatever way the board would decide, I think we could make a decent case. For the subdivision. And not necessarily for a site plan, because we haven't seen a site plan. yet.
Right.
But for actual subdivision, I think that the board, I mean, I don't know if you guys feel that way too, but I think that the board with some generalized conditions would be able to confidently do that subdivision.
Thanks. I would.
Charlie's gonna talk. He's got it.
No, and in a little bit different direction, and not that this really counts for anything, because I don't think. The thing that bothers me about these three houses, I mean, if you read the intentions of development in Mendon to be done tastefully, and, if you see three houses or four houses like what Corey did on West Bloomfield Road, they're staggered in and out. What we're offered here is driving down Mendon Center Road and looking at the back of three houses in a row. There's nothing, nobody's gonna see the front of those houses.
Yeah, and I don't know that anybody's really gonna just.
That just
I don't
doesn't
know. I
sit.
don't know that driving up Mendon Center Road towards Topspin, that you're just gonna notice like three houses on
Well,
Topspin
I
have a
mean, it
backyard.
might not jump out at you, but it certainly is not what I would call tasteful placement.
They'll all be landscape. And if we look at the lawsuit coming, a denial on the subdivision, he will have more of a case. For a lawsuit against the town for the denial than the people that are trying to stop them.
Right, and I didn't think, what I said, I knew it can't really go anywhere, but that's just something that bothers me.
So again, when it's a site plan approval, right, when the site plan actually comes to fruition. And we look at it, whichever, and we don't even know which lot will be the first one. Condition of an approval might be some screening from Mendon Center Road. Do you know, you know what I mean, as you're looking
Right,
at
the
each one
screening.
individually.
Right, the screening needs to be in the back more than in the front.
The angularity of the houses, so you don't have a wall of houses.
Right.
Houses will angle this
But you
way.
see what I'm saying, how that could potentially look.
If they own enough land, they can put a screen all the way down West Bloomfield Road. On West Bloomfield, not West. Bloomfield,
Mendon
on
Center,
Mendon Center Road.
yeah. Okay, I'm a little better now.
But I think those would come with the site plan approval rather than the subdivision
Right.
approval, right? Yeah.
And the other thing that bothers me is the EPOD situation in the wetlands. You've got three properties, one or all of whom will be treating their lawns. And if you look at the topography, I know that they've got, the DEC has said that, there's enough room there. Chemicals are gonna find their way down into those wetlands.
I think that's what they think theoretically the 100-foot buffer is for. It'll filter its way through the sediment by the time it gets to the wetlands, but I don't
That's
know.
what the wetlands are for.
But I don't,
And you're assuming someone's going to treat their lawn.
Well,
I mean, I've got 50 acres and I've got a nice big front lawn and backyard, and I mean, and I've never put one thing on my yard. Except
Yes.
grass seed.
You too?
No,
Me neither.
no, never, never. So, yeah. In the amount that someone, I mean, I don't know, I shouldn't even speak to this because I really have no idea, but in my little brain, I think, yeah, somebody comes and gets a dandelion sprayed in whenever
I
season they
love
do it.
dandelions.
Well, you can eat them, you know.
Yeah.
Very, very good for you.
I'm
And they
reading,
quench your
I'm
liver.
reading Silent Spring right now by Rachel Carson, so that's part of my.
Ouch. Well, it's good to think about all of these things. Teresa's right, the 100-foot buffer is what is supposed to be. What filters that out, and we don't have anything in front of us that tells us that that's a concern. I mean, and so we just wonder if it is, but without any, our experts have not come forward and said that that's an issue. So. I don't know, just food for thought. I just thought maybe we could, kind of gather our thoughts together, and for the next time, I don't even know when Josh is gonna be back. But so that we're at least thinking cohesively towards a means to an end, so that when he comes back, we know what we're gonna say, or we pretty much know what we're gonna say.
Is he scheduled to come back yet? No?
I haven't heard from him. Came in the day after the meeting to kind of go through. And I was showing, the seeker, things he wasn't familiar with. Not that I'm an expert in seeker in the least, but he had nothing as of yet.
And another topic altogether, what's up with Margaret Fiore?
Why, have you heard anything?
No, but
Like, I don't think anybody's heard from her since we passed the law.
so what is she able to do? Nothing, really. She's not in the hamlet.
They're not in the business district. So they would not,
So she can live in her house.
they're not permitted to be, they would have to come in for a use variance in order to run or operate a short-term rental in any capacity outside of the hamlet, outside the business or industrial. They can ask for a use variance, and that would be for the zoning board. To get the variance first, then they would have to get permitted for it. I don't know.
Unhost.
Are we unplugged right now?
No.
No, because we're doing our general discussion,
Okay.
so we can't unplug.
Okay.
Because there's too many of us here.
Could do a posted share.
Okay, so it would be something along the lines of bed and breakfast. With a special use permit, those are the options.
But she's had nothing so far, right?
No, not that, no, and I.
Do we know if they're operating?
I've not heard, there's been no complaints, so that's all I know.
Okay. So there you have it. It's Margaret. For as loud and proud as she was, she kind of fell off the face of the earth.
Well, she's doing little things like that slab that she poured in the back left corner there. Now there's arborvitae's around it. There's seating for 20 and. She
Oh.
just saw today, she's got an entrance sign.
Oh, so
So
she's
she-
just moving ahead with her business plan regardless.
I can't say, but she's doing little things.
Yes,
Move to adjourn.
you know what? We can call it a day, because you know what? We shouldn't speculate on. I mean, honestly, we shouldn't speculate on Margaret, because like my house, I could have seating for 20, because guess what? My family's 20, right? Her family might be 22, so we probably shouldn't be
No,
speculating.
that's just an observation. I wasn't,
Yeah.
I had just one other thing once we're off.
Oh, we can't be off if you have one thing. That's okay, say it.
No, I can't.
Okay, so,
I'm choosing not to.
okay, that's
Okay.
fine. All right.
Motion to adjourn.
To adjourn
I need a motion.
from Teresa and seconded by Earl.
Yes.
Yep, okay. Oh, good. This meeting is
In
concluded.
favor?
Oh, all in
All in
favor?
favor? Thank you.
Aye. Opposed? No. Saying no.